Chicks and Chicks coming at you April 13th, 2017. Look who we have here. Our favourite and your favourite, Nigel Farage.
Thank you, Chat Tip 2, Orion Prime, for putting this clip up. We'd like to hear what Nigel Farage has to say on Donald Trump's foreign policy. This is a recent clip, so here we go.
Here we go.
Here, Nigel Farage, the man behind Brexit. We don't have a shrinking violet as the President of the United States, do we? Do you approve?
No, I approve of much of the way that Donald Trump conducts himself, but I would just add to the point that, yes, Assad undoubtedly has done some pretty awful things against his people, but just look at his opponents, because, you know, amongst the array of people against him are organisations like ISIS, whose behaviour against people, frankly, at times is bestial. And I think it is a real problem in this part of the world, trying to pick the good guys and the bad guys. Because what happens once Assad has gone? Because, you know, you listen to Secretary of State Tillerson, you listen to Boris Johnson from our country, and what's pretty clear is the West is now calling for regime change. They're calling for Assad to be gone. I've yet to hear one sensible explanation of who or what is going to replace him.
I think President Trump may be dialing that back. He's gone to great lengths to say we are not going into Syria. Maybe he's countering the calls from some people saying regime change.
Well, I think it's a great relief that the President gave that interview last night, making it clear that ground troops are not going in. I think a lot of Trump voters would have been mightily relieved by that. But still, there are many people around the President and close to the President who have really been quite explicit in saying they want regime change. Well, we did this in Iraq, we did this in Libya. I just wonder what the alternative is.
Nigel, did you know that former President Barack Obama is going to visit Europe shortly, next month, I believe, in May. He's going to visit Angela Merkel.
Yes.
And at precisely the moment that that meeting takes place, President Trump will be visiting Europe as well. What's going on?
I wanted to make a little clip here because he's actually going to meet Angela Merkel because during the celebrations of the 500-year anniversary of the Protestant Reformation. And the Obama Foundation is actually co-founding, which is confounding to me, that a professed commie Muslim Islamist would be co-chairing a celebration on the Protestant Reformation. I find this deeply, deeply offensive as a Protestant myself and a lover of Martin Luther, whose great-grandfather was a Lutheran minister from Scandinavia. Wow! Okay, I find this offensive to me. And the fact that, you know, Martin Luther be rolling over in his grave, what's going on down there, okay?
Martin Luther would have had a couple of different types of things to be pounded on the White House door, besides the 95
We are
pieces.
the generation of the new Martin Luther, taking out the corruption in the government like Martin Luther was taking the corruption out of the church.
All right, back to Nigel.
What's going on here?
Yeah, well, Trump is going to Brussels to go and meet NATO, which I think is very important indeed, because they need to get the message very clearly that America will not go on picking up the tab if the other members aren't paying the 2% of their GDP membership fee. As for Obama, well, I mean, the one country he wouldn't visit in Europe, of course, is the United Kingdom, because he doesn't like us very much. He always saw Germany as being America's best ally in Europe, and I guess it'll be a get-together of the globalists. They can have a losing party for all the things that went wrong to them in 2016 and may well happen to them in 2017.
As I was saying, no shrinking violet over there next to Big Ben. All right, one more for you. Will you put in perspective and context, please, the attack, 3 bombs on the Dortmund soccer club bus yesterday?
Because we didn't cover this.
It's not been widely reported in the United States, but I believe it's had significant impact in Europe. Spell it out for us, will you, Nigel?
Yes, I mean, this was a very prominent football team going off to play a Champions League game against Monaco. So, you know, a sort of pan-European football event. They're a very popular team with some big stars in them. There were 3 explosions that took place outside the bus. One of the main windows was blown in. One of the players, a Spanish international, had an injury to his hand. At the moment, there are several groups who are claiming responsibility for the attack. So I can't yet confirm whether this is Islamist or not, although one Islamist group has claimed it. But the context is this. that there are now so many attacks taking place across Europe that it's almost become an everyday event.
Occurrence.
And that's an extraordinary thing. Nigel Farage, as always,
It is.
thanks for joining us, sir.
I'm glad that he covered
you.
that because we didn't get a chance to.
And look who...
Sorry. Did you see he had a haircut? He looked really nice.
Yep,
Not that guy.
I know.
All right. So listen, I couldn't help but notice where he talked about how Trump has a lot of people surrounding him that really are going for regime change, and that was kind of a point that we made in our phone call when we talked to Nigel. And so I'm not saying obviously he knew that, which is why I said it. He knew it, but he did kind of use one of our talking points when he was talking to this guy. I'm just saying.
Okay, so I want to take you down a giant rabbit hole. I am convinced, beyond a shadow of a doubt, at this point in my gut, right? My gut, I would put all of my cards on the table that Assad did not gas his people.
Oh yeah, I'm with you there.
And from what I've been wanting to bring you guys some of these clips, and I'm going to try to go through them and build for you why. Because this is the difference between the globalists who control the narrative. Here it is, this is it, bam,
You
right?
just believe it. You swallow it like a big horse pill.
Right, exactly. Okay, so dog had to eat food.
I'm hungry. I don't get to eat. It's fine.
Okay, so I have been wanting to take you guys down a little rabbit hole, a couple different rabbit trails with me to show you why I have come to this conclusion. And I was listening to Ann Coulter today.
There's no I in we.
We have come to this conclusion.
Join
so
me
I
now.
am team. Ann Coulter today spelled this out as well. Listen, Trump did not run on this. We showed you the clip yesterday. And you watch it through with Donald Trump debating Jeb Bush on Syria when you look at all of his tweets.
Right.
But then he gets in and the sludge is like constipation, right? So Donald Trump is like, he's the food for America, and everybody voted him in because we all wanted to eat pizza, right? But
Pizza!
then it's got to come out the other end.
Oh, and it's got jalapenos on it.
No, we wish it had jalapenos.
We wish.
Because it's where we are stopped up. This
Where
is
are
my
we going with
constipation.
this? Oh my gosh.
Because Donald Trump came in with a lot of agendas.
Right.
And they got stopped up.
Yes, they did.
They're stopped like this. And we need an enema or something to get it unstopped. We need to
I ain't signing up for that enema jet.
once Donald Trump, he realized the deep state is the constipation state. Okay? And that it's all disgusting. Everybody got leaky gut and all kind of problems, right? So Donald Trump was good. He got in there. He had a lot of great ideas. America first. Now he meets with China. All of a sudden, oh, hey, China, we might be able to work something out if you can handle a little crazy man in North Korea.
Are we going to cover that interview?
We are going to cover this interview.
All
And
right.
actually, we're going to take a break. We're going to stop here. Now we're going to take no break. I want to bring these to you in some sort of semblance of order. I'm sorry because if it kind of seems a little haphazard as we put them up, but there's these little pieces that I want to show you about what's going on in Syria, and I think we laid the foundation to let you know this isn't about Syria, okay? And that's the big thing that I want you guys to realize, that there are so many bigger places, there's so much more to be had here with 7 countries, 5 years, destabilize the Middle East. That was the idea. And I'm going to start with this clip where Sean Spicer says, literally he says, and I know it was a Freudian slip. I know it slipped, but he says, our goal is to destabilize the Syria. Destabilize Syria, that's our goal. So we're going to start with that clip, and then we're just going to roll with it. And I hope that you enjoy it, because this was so eye-opening to me. I started following links to the other side of the story. Okay, I know the mainstream media side.
Oh, backwards and forwards.
I know Assad's evil. This is what's happening in Aleppo. We're funding the right guys. I've seen all of the videos, right? Okay, so I went in search of the other side of the story. You know, when 2 kids come to your parent and one says, Mom, you know, Danny hit me, and over here you got, you know, Danny saying, Mom, I didn't do it. He hit me first, okay? And so whoever gives you the first narrative first is usually the one who you believe, right? And so...
Because it's very hard to get a lie out of your head. I mean, how many of you have ever had a couple and they get divorced and you hear the one side first and all of a sudden the other person's completely evil, but then you hear the other side and you go like, wait, hang on a minute.
I do believe, however, as William Penn would say, I believe it's a cop-out, and he didn't say it this way, to say that there is, I'm in the middle, that there's no side to pick. When we say we don't lean left, we don't lean right, we lean on the Word of God, I fully believe in right and wrong.
And we do pick a side.
I do pick sides.
Pick the right side.
We try to, and I will learn to try to pick the right side. And
Right.
so, one of the things that our mom has taught us, we grew up in an abusive household with our dad. We've been around abusive people. And we had to learn throughout life to recognize lies and deception and to stand up against those who are evil. And I think I wrote in a comment today, ever since I was a little kid, I had this in me to stand up against bullies. My mom would tell me, she tells me stories. I would come home from school, because I was in public school for several years. She said I would come home from school and I would tell her stories about so-and-so was picking on so-and-so, and I would stand up for them. I don't quite remember all those stories. I remember a few. I remember more in junior high, standing up for people. But it's always been in me. And that's why I'm a Christian. That's why I believe in Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ is the ultimate underdog story. And I believe he helps me to stand up for those who are evil. When your neighbors get in fights or things like that, I do try to find what's right and what's wrong. Sometimes this person was wrong and they need to say sorry, and sometimes this person was wrong.
And you can still be diplomatic about it, but you can know which one is right and which one is wrong.
But sometimes there is a wrong person. And sometimes you have to speak out, and you get backlash for that. One of the things I don't like about most Christians is they're incredibly wishy-washy, incredibly too easy to forgive. And what they mean by forgive is just let abusive people stay in their lives. And I am not for that. I know Christian people who, on the basis of Christian principles, have kept molesters in their lives and not reported them to the police. This is wrong. One of the Hillsong ministers in Australia went through a big thing because he found out his dad was a child molester. And he didn't immediately report it to the police. He said that one of the people who was brought forward, who brought it forward, said, don't go to the police. But here's the thing. All they did was take his dad down, and they tried to cover it up, like make sure he wasn't around kids and make sure he didn't do this, right? That's a Christian's MO. We forgive. We love to. You can forgive when somebody's behind bars, okay? Because there are things that you do on this earth that require you to face punishment, okay? And so that's what I'm trying to get at with this whole thing. I know that was kind of a lengthy explanation, but I have been listening to and watching videos on the white helmets on Aleppo from the Syrians, and I can tell you, my gut says
false flag,
and my gut says Assad
did not gas his own people.
And Assad is not the wicked monster that he's played out to be, just like Gaddafi wasn't the wicked monster.
There's bad leaders that do really bad things, okay? But there's a difference between a Hitler and an Assad.
No one's as bad as America. It's government.
And you know what?
Nobody's as bad as them.
What interview was it where they were like, you think America is so innocent? Wasn't that Donald Trump?
I don't know.
That said that. You think America is so innocent?
Well, here's the thing. Just recently, we bombed in this great victory, Mosul, and I'm going to show you this interview here in a minute, in Iraq. Babies, their skin is coming off. They'll never see again. Okay?
We did that.
We did that because we were freeing people.
Mm-hmm.
Children injured in the name of freedom. So if Assad is fighting for freedom, then I understand that there are going to be civilian casualties. Okay? I'm not saying that what we're doing, the coalition forces in Iraq, we went in, we destabilized people, we killed a bunch of people, we're still killing people. I mean, it's insane. We made a mess, we're trying to fix the mess, and people are still dying. And I don't see people on the news in tears crying because of these children, because our coalition forces burned the arm off of people. I mean, kids with no legs. So, guys,
and you know what? I don't blame the American people, because those images aren't being plastered all over mainstream media. You don't know.
Right.
You just don't know.
But I'm going to get to it.
Well, America killed 500,000 children in Iraq.
Right.
And it's like a liar. Once somebody lies,
right,
they have to just shut up. And once you've killed 500,000, just Donald Trump, shut up, get out of the Middle East. We have no right to be there. We killed 500,000 of their children.
And obviously our interventions suck. And I hate that word, but they're really bad. If that's fixing, let's leave it broken.
And you know what? And in all honesty, the Patriot Gallery calls out Donald Trump, and we have to, even though we're the only people, not we, but the Trump supporters are the only one really supporting Trump. But supporting him is reminding him of what he has said over and over and over again. He knows better.
We don't want more war because we feel it. We know it. When you wake up to the fact that, what if 10 kids were died because of a regime change in Iraq? What if 50? What if 100?
You can't put a number on it.
You can't wrap your head around a million people died because of what our government did in Iraq. We're done. We're done, you guys. We have given up any moral high ground. And I tell you what else I was reading and looking today. Dick Cheney, who's his company? Stinkin' Burton. Look at his tax returns. He made millions off of us going into Iraq. Millions. Halliburton made billions of us going off. These defense contractors like, dude, I got it. Defense contractors are making billions. Bankers. People are making so much money off of war. There's no money to be made in the false banker market if you don't have war, folks. And I was talking to a friend online today. We were talking about, well, what happens when the dollar falls? What happens to our kids? I tell you what, at this point, we'll eat grass. Because my food and my clothes and my lighting
is not worth the life.
It's not worth the life of one person.
Patriot Gallery.
One person.
Well, Donald Trump was elected to clean our house. Clean our swamp. Clean up our house. He's going to bomb anybody? Bomb America. Bomb the people who killed 500,000 children in Iraq. There's a lot of people to kill here in America if he wants to kill somebody.
You know what? Let me get through some of these videos because a lot of people are saying exactly what I'm saying. Under the thinking of bombing Syria, we should be bombed. We should bomb ourselves.
Exactly.
Because of how many people we killed. What's the difference between a stupid chemical and a bomb?
Well, a lot of people said Trump did this to show himself strong around the world. If he wants to show himself strong, if he wants to show himself strong around the world, be strong in America against the criminals in America.
And clean us
Prove
up.
that he can clean house in America and make the streets clean of all this immorality and all these chemicals in the air. And there's so much to clean in America.
It goes back to what Leah was just saying about that Australian pastor for Hillsong. To really show himself strong, he has to be, and there's a biblical precedence for this. When there's somebody in your family is doing something wrong, it takes the ultimate strength to say, you know what? You're getting punished. Donald Trump has fired his own brother before, and that's the Donald Trump that we want to see clean house in the United States instead of getting rid of the right people like General Flynn and bringing in all the wrong people like Rex Tillerson and Mad Dog Mattis and Jared Kushner. Those are all the wrong people.
McMaster is worse than Mattis, and I have to say that. Mattis is not. He's not as bad. He could stay.
Okay.
McMaster should go.
All right. Well, anyway, the point is Trump needs to be able to be strong enough to get rid of those people first before we go and try to change regimes in the Middle East.
Right.
So.
Okay, let's start on our white helmet tour.
All right, you guys, this is Leah Michelle signing off for Resistance Chicks, where it is not just a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications, and find us on Facebook and Twitter. We love you. God loves you. God bless.
I was cold all alone.